Welcome to Music Mindset Podcast. My name is Whitney B.
I'm JP.
RIEL.
I don't know what I was about to say. And we got a special guest.
Dirrty Phil.
I think we already gave
Live
him
and direct.
In Spanish, they call me Felipe Sucio.
Okay.
Oh, all right.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
like that.
Yeah.
That's going to be your son's
Yeah.
name. That's we had to give some names like you said. for your
Filipito,
kids.
Susito.
Oh, I completely endorse it. I totally endorse
That's
it.
hard. That's hard.
That's what's
Yeah,
up.
thank you guys for having me on the pod. I really appreciate it. It's actually my first one, like official podcast, so it's
Yeah.
cool to be on here with you guys.
Nice.
Love the vibe.
Yeah.
And the old stomping grounds here.
Yeah.
Media in the office.
Yeah, I'll start us off with like a little backstory because Mr. Dirty and I have known each other for quite some time.
Been years.
Years, and I feel like we've worked in the same circles. I don't even know outside of the beats for the reality
show. Yeah.
I don't know that we've ever had to like work on anything because I haven't really been in music for real.
Yeah.
But damn, I wasn't even thinking about bringing that up, but I brought it up.
I didn't forget it.
I did for a second.
Yeah, that was one of the mainstays that that I kind of remembered and always held on to was like that opportunity when you guys were filming a reality show and then coming to me and producing the entire the whole first season. Wasn't it?
Yeah.
So that was super cool. But yeah, I've always fucked with you guys.
Yeah, same.
Yeah,
I've
sure.
been, and I'm pretty sure these guys can tell you I've brought you up quite a few times, and it's always been love, of course.
Awesome. I appreciate it for sure.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I always heard that you did the beat or whatever, like the theme song or whatever for the
Yeah, he
Real
did
Family
all the-
Business,
yeah.
all
Yeah.
that. So that's
Yeah.
kind of, I just
Yeah.
was like, all right, dude makes beats. That's what's up.
yeah.
That's my credo.
Every time we're like, man, we need to get in contact with the producer. I'm like, I know one. I have to get out. So now you're
Yeah,
here.
that's me. Yeah, I'm the guy.
So what you been working on?
Right now, I actually just finished up the touches. I'm dropping a new project. It's an album. It's going to be called This Life. It is primarily instrumental, but it's like a whole bunch of vibes. The idea of This Life, which actually stemmed from the actual final track on it, was going to be a single, and I ended up uploading that single because I just wanted to drop something. I'm just a firm believer, just drop music.
Yeah.
You got to just drop it. Why not? So I ended up releasing it and then somehow ended up like listening to the preview and it sounded so fucking bad. Like it was just so distorted. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like,
Yeah.
delete. Like,
Yeah.
so get that down. So I went back to work on that and I was like, you know what? I was like, I got a rack of records like that I kind of just want to get out. So I went to the MPC, that's my baby, and I put together a nice little track list. So like it kind of carries you through, and the whole idea of This Life, it sends you through like an emotional journey through music.
Okay.
It's got like your trap bangers, festival bangers on there. I got 2 of those on there. I got like a nice, beautiful musical interlude that ends up turning into like a dance track too at the to close out the beat. Actually, shout out to my boy Big Skies, Mike Burton. He gave me the name for the idea because it was going to be originally called Fame, but it ended up being renamed to House by Drake.
House by
Because I'm a fan of
that-
I love
yeah.
Drake's the GOAT for me.
Drake's
He's my favorite artist of all time.
Oh shit.
But yeah, the House by Drake. So the theory of it was like an interlude, but it was kind of paying homage to that new project he dropped, where he's crossing over into the house and just like bringing that whole vibe that Drake does.
Yeah.
So just kind of like. And then you got the hard thumping tracks with the heavy drums. I revamped and re-released Buchele Bongo.
That's one I just listened to. That's on your Facebook profile. I
Yes,
pulled
yes,
Yeah.
that was an interesting track that actually came out of the blue. That's actually got its own story in its own with how that came about. But so I just trying to like, bring you in and just kind of transition, and then just kind of take you through like the emotions. Like I said, life. You get all kinds of things that you can express through music, and everybody can relate to music. It's literally the language of the soul.
It sounds like some music mindset shit to
Right.
me.
You know what I mean? So I didn't want to make it too long, so it's a 10-track EP. But the only thing I got to do is finish up the album art, and she's done. And then I'm just gonna drop it.
The whole thing.
The whole thing. Yeah, I'm just gonna drop it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what I've been working on. I just recently signed a publishing agreement deal with Alcon Films with Leon Youngblood and Lord Yeti, or Nettie, sorry. So basically, the contract agreement basically says I'd take a batch of beats that I've produced and I just ship them out, big batch load.
Okay.
So basically, it'll go into a pool, and what they'll do is any TV shows, films, video games, radio commercials, TV commercials, you name it, anything media or entertainment, there's a potential for them to grab my shit and just go ahead and put it on, and then do placements.
Yeah.
Which is the ultimate goal at the end of the day, because, I mean, that stuff lasts forever.
Yeah. So
commercials and all that.
So have you done a lot of that, or was that the first time that you've like?
No, I've always been kind of dabbling into placements for like advertisements and stuff like that. Shout out to my boy Jordan Mandel. He's like my partner / music manager with Jam Brothers Music. That's the label that I'm with. Okay. But now it like turned in from artist / producer to like a partnership. That's like one of my best friends.
Yeah.
So anything that I do, it has his name on it.
Yeah.
Anything that comes out of anything monetary wise, he's gonna get some of it. So it's just like kind of an agreement that we have. But yeah, so I got that with him. Of course, I've done a ton of shit with J Law.
Yeah.
So and then I'm still producing artists. Very few in between, but primarily Big Skies. He's been recording with me. And then I produced a couple records for some other guys locally. It just hasn't been as recent. Okay. But other than that, just working on my own tracks. I'm still working on, sending out beats, and, you just got connections here and there that you run into. And if the opportunity arises, hey man, I got beats for you, bro. Yeah. Play my shit.
Well, I mean, we need beats.
Yeah, no, and I definitely we'll obviously have a conversation. You kind of planted that seed already, but I'm definitely willing to. Unfortunately, I did ship out a whole chunk of my catalog, so I have stuff still in the stash, but a lot of it's just not done yet, or still on my MPC.
What's that stand for?
Music production center.
Gotcha.
It's the Akai. It's the old school like hip hop, the Beat Machine. Oh. It's got the 16 pads, like it came out in the 80s. Okay. Nice. Classic staple in hip hop, like Jermaine Dupri. He's still fucking rocking on the MPC.
Shout out Jermaine Dupri.
Hell
right,
yeah,
JD.
so
top down.
Yeah,
I
so
seen
like
him in that one documentary back when he was fucking with Houdini when he was like 11. They showed like a picture of him.
Oh yeah, which one was that?
I don't remember, but motherfucker's been in the game.
Yeah,
Big
and he's still super relevant. That's what's crazy.
Yeah,
producing them hits.
Oh my god, yeah, and it's crazy too because like you got like Mike Will made it. He messes with it a little bit. Scott Storch, legendary producer.
Yeah, you might as well look at them when you're naming names because I don't know anybody.
Yeah,
I know the song.
No, but he produced it. Scott Storch.
Now I'm just saying, you say Scott Storch, I'm like, who?
And of course, the goat Zaytoven. I mean, he's another one. Yeah, so Zay Tiggy. And actually, it's funny too because Zaytoven was actually the primary reason why I went to the MPC. I started off producing music on Fruity Loops, FL Studio. There was like Magix and Acid Pro and all that stuff, but I actually went backwards because hip hop went to FL Studio. Like the biggest records were made on FL. Like everybody's doing that. So I actually went backwards with that. Okay, but and went more hardware based.
Is that like why? Like what makes that better for you? Like what made you go in that direction?
Honestly, it's the drummer in me. Okay. I just, for me, it's more of a natural feel. Like I've always loved working on FL, like, and I still will do it occasionally. But that's more of like just clicking buttons and drawing in your patterns, drawing in your instrumentation. Like for me, I have like banks of sounds that I already have like preloaded. Like I have my own personal sound bank. It's like 4 banks worth of shit. Yeah. And I just like to feel like the finger drumming. Mm-hmm. For me, it's more natural. I feel like your switch ups are easier to do. And again, just being a drummer, primarily from my background, that rhythm for me, it's just, I don't know, it just feels more authentic. And the sound, I feel, is more natural too. It doesn't feel digitalized.
Yeah,
if that makes
gotcha,
sense.
gotcha. So, Gabe, I have a question for you. With as an artist, like, what do you look for in a producer? Like, what kinds of things are important to you? And like, yeah.
I mean, basically what he was just saying about the versatility and just having different like inspirations. Like when I go through a catalog or I go through like a beat pack, I just look for versatility. If you got different sounds where you can do like an R&B, you can do a dance track like you were talking about, like a Drake, you can do just some straight up hip hop, like I'd be like,
Yeah.
I start going down the rabbit hole and I'm like, that's what I look for. So
There's a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
I start going through different sounds. I'm like, okay, you got this. Okay, I can do this. And it's just like, that's the vibe I'm on. So that's the connection that I look for with a producer.
Do you like to work with like the same or like establish a solid relationship with a producer, or you just kind of like, you know what I mean? I feel like I would, if I were whatever, I would be a beat whore. Like I feel like I would just go to whoever.
whore?
Yeah. Like not like whatever sounds good. Like I don't know.
You got beats, I'm open.
Nah, I mean, it's I would say like just recently with the music that I've been recording, like I've been connecting with the producers, just hitting them up like, yo, like, no, I really fuck with your sound, like just getting more personal with the producers, kind of building that in a sense, because like the new age now it's all online. Like you're not like, it's very rare that you find a producer that you're locked in with where you're like, you know, that's a fucking blessing. Like you're on a different game. Like if you're locked in, but
like you mean like at the actual studio?
You're
and
in
all
the
that?
same studio, you're recording, like that's,
that's
different.
super
like,
rare now.
That's why I wanted to ask you, like, what do you look for, like as far as like working with artists? Is there like how do you select what artists, even what placements make sense for you?
Yeah. I'll be honest, any placement, I ain't gonna be mad at it, for real. Like, but when it comes to like, but when it comes to like locking in with an artist, like, for me, it's always like the vibe. Like if I'm gonna like get along with you, or like, you know, you feel a chemistry when you get into the studio. So like for me, I have hip hop experience. I was rapping and Wu-tanging that shit. Like I was a writer, I was the engineer, I was the producer, and we had like a gang of people like that I was doing all it, and then I'd be the last person to record, and it was like, all right, it's time for Phil to get on the mic, so I'll do that. But so it always comes down to like a certain vibe. And as a producer, you want to work with people who kind of share a vision. It's got to be natural as far as like the connection, the drive, the ambition. Talent also has a huge factor in that. Oh, yeah. Like if you show up to the studio, not saying this has happened, but like for example, like if you show up to the studio and you're like not prepared, like if you got like a half-ass written verse and you got to do 12,000 takes, I'm like, bro, just come back.
That hasn't happened to you?
That has happened.
I was gonna say.
That's got to come from somewhere, right?
Yeah, that's how he knows it's
but
fucked.
no, and that's kind of why I've always ended up working with the people that I work with. The J-Laws, for example, anytime he is like, Phil, I'm coming over to record something, he's ready to go. Like there's no, I mean, get it in, get it done. Big Skies, he's the same way. Lil Skies, he was that way. Like he came to work. He was ready to work. We're going to sit there and write. We're going to sit there for 2 hours and to make one song. He came over with a rack of songs ready to record. And it was boom, 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 knock them out. So that's kind of my thing. Sonny Bronco, shout out to him too. He was always an artist who would come in and lock in, and he was always ready to go. So that's kind of, that's how I work. Because I they say the whole expression of quality over quantity. It's not always true. Just bang it out. Just get shit done. But
that's
like
the thing.
Like you show up and like you know your words. You're ready to go. We're gonna put in work. Like plain and simple. But definitely the vibe first and foremost. Like, and I gotta believe in what you're bringing.
No, I agree. That's why I say it's very rare to find a producer where you're locked in, because there's so many components to it, like you just mentioned.
And the blessing too is finding a producer that's also the engineer too, because for me personally, having that engineering background, and a producer's job isn't just to make the beat. if you fuck up on the mic, I'm gonna stop you and say you fucked up.
Yeah.
Do it again.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how many times I've done that to people. They'll be just like
Yeah.
recording in their zone. I'm like, but man, wasn't that good? Hey man, you slipped your word. So I pay attention. That's another thing.
That's
like I take pride and value in. So any product that I put out or I personally touch, it essentially I make it my own.
Yeah.
Because my name's gonna be behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether I made the beat or not, I'm gonna give that artist that same treatment. Like there's always a treatment to like the situation where you wouldn't want to put out anything that you wouldn't put out yourself per se.
Pass it down.
So that's kind of
Yeah,
like,
y'all two can share that one.
all right then.
This one.
You need a bogey liner, Brian got one.
I don't have one.
I do. But yeah, that's kind of like my thing, big time. But yeah, so if I believe in you and I like your talent, if I think you're a good person and you got that drive,
Yeah.
I'm gonna work with you. I'm gonna fuck with you.
You know, you brought up you and Jamie, like how he comes in, he's ready to work. And, you know, my favorite song from you guys, I don't know if you would know. Just if you, and you know, I don't know that many, I don't think.
Yeah, me.
Yes! That's like my favorite song. I don't even know why. And I think he deleted it or something.
I hope not.
I don't know. I can never find it because I think I don't.
That
I don't
shit was
spell
Marty
it.
McFire.
I don't remember how you guys spelled it. I like feel like I always spell it wrong.
It was like YAAMEEN or something like that.
Yeah, I think I was too
it's
literal with it.
something funny like that.
Yeah, but that was my shit. Like I like just the whole production of you guys. I feel like I always say this to Jamie, but you guys are people that are like way ahead of
I
your
don't know how we're
time.
gonna
Oh man,
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how many times that has actually came to fruition because it has been like that. That's like the wildest thing too. Appreciate you. But yeah, we always seem to be like ahead of our time when it came to shit. The radio show, like the skits and the videos, and then like the style of music. Like we were just, for some reason, just years ahead before anything like popped.
Yeah, because like if you picture Yamin on TikTok right now, like you're to be like just that type of.
You
content.
can leave it there. And I'll
Oh,
just pass
okay.
it to you to
All right, I guess that works. There we go.
But yeah, and then
All right.
so yeah, that one was fun. I mean, we were always prideful of like doing the improv skit type funny shit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just I don't know. It's just like when you got a good just sense of humor.
Yeah.
I mean, that's another thing for me. I don't try to facade anything. I don't want to put up a fake or phony impression of myself. Like
Yeah.
I've learned over the years, like just be genuine, be yourself. If you're in a room full of people, just it's better to come off being natural than like any kind of like fake standoff. Because people are going to call you out eventually. They're gonna know like,
Yeah.
hey, bro over here, flaky.
Yeah.
So
He ain't really like that.
So
yeah,
where are you with your content game lately? Like
I'm awful.
it's like as ahead of it. I feel like at least with y'all, and I even feel like myself ahead of our time. But it's like trying
I mean,
to
and
figure out
that's the thing. Like, and I'm trying to like push myself getting back to the content. I just like I took a big step back. It's like for so many years, it's content. Film this, do this, and it got to the point where I started feeling like work opposed to like fun.
Yeah.
And once I started feeling like that, I was like, okay, it's time for me to take a step back.
Yeah.
And just kind of like, look from the outside in, see what's going on and what I can do to like just kind of refocus and regroup. So honestly, the social media was the trigger for me.
Yeah.
I kind of fall back and a lot of people like noticed.
Yeah.
Like, yo, where'd you go?
Yeah.
Because I was starting to gain traction, momentum.
I type in Dirty Phil, and it's the last thing is 10 years ago. That first thing that pops up is 10 years ago in YouTube.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I don't necessarily put stuff on my own channel.
Yeah. Well, no, yeah, it popped up on Laws, but yeah. Even still.
But there is recent stuff that I've done, like during lockdowns with COVID. We shot New Tomorrow,
Okay.
which was off of like my little project that I did with Jam Brothers.
Okay.
I had like 4 or 5 songs on it. It was a small project, but it was just songs that I had. And shout out to Dunlap Exclusive. He was the primary producer on that. He's a Grammy-winning producer and Stellar Award winner out in Tennessee. solid dude. I've been working with him for years. Like back in 2009, I had his beats like on the hard drive. Now I almost pretty much fucked that whole situation up because when I got access to like these crazy ass beats, I'm like, yo, this shit's out of bounds. Like, and just making records. And it's like, I'm putting it out. I'm putting it out. I'm putting it out. My dumb ass didn't realize the importance of like split sheets, agreements. Like, hey, you're not fucking with a local producer. Like this dude actually has a background. So I almost fucked up that relationship. But years later, we ended up just linking back up, and then he ended up producing like a ton of records for me. New Tomorrow being one of them. But yeah, like during the lockdown, putting the office together and shit. That was my last video I shot, and that was probably one of the deepest songs I've ever written too.
I haven't heard that.
You haven't heard that one?
No.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I haven't. I really, honestly, like, I feel bad because I really have not kept up. Like, I was like, damn. Like, the only thing that I knew was the horror fest that you were working on. That's like the only thing that has stood out in my mind that you.
The horror contest.
Yeah,
I know, and that was so random too for me. Like, the weirdest thing, and I was just like, fuck it, I like horror. Let's just go ahead and do this.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, 13K ain't bad.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, the social media part of it, I think that every artist struggles with that. But like, what keeps you, like, you know, aside from that content part of it, because you mentioned placements, is there anything else that like you strive for, or like you're aiming towards aside from the content, social media aspect of the music?
Yeah, honestly, for me, it's just to be able to create and release, and just kind of leave a legacy behind and show like the work put in over the years, that I did something, I tried something, even if it never goes anywhere or I don't maintain like that goal that I actually want. I can still look back and say I did that shit, and I'm proud of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as like, you know, I'm always going to strive to try to get placements. Like I said, the branding stuff where you can lock in commercials or films or anything like that, is super cool because I did have that happen to me. It was the 2015 film called #Lucky Number. Starred Method Man was in it, Tom Pelphrey. I'm trying to think of who the other ones were, but the music manager through Jam Brothers for that movie reached out to me, and they picked my song "She's on Fire."
Okay.
So that was like my first like urban pop crossover dance track, which originally was pitched. There was a pitch to Flow Rider for that, but it wasn't good enough. So I kept it from myself, which I'm totally cool with doing that now, just to where it's at, just for the fact that like I can go throw that film on. And an hour and so in, you know, I got the longest placement in the movie. Like my song ran the longest in that, and just to see that and like watch it on DirecTV and say, I was like, holy fuck, dude!
Yeah.
Like,
What's it called again?
Well, She's on Fire.
She's
And then the movie's called #Lucky Number.
Lucky number.
Yeah.
So yeah,
no,
we're gonna
that's-
have to add that to
It's
the
a
list.
comedy. It's funny.
I think that's dope though, because like, yeah, you can get so caught up in like that views and all that, but there's like that other side of it that like, I think a lot of the younger producers and artists don't really look into, you know what I mean? They just look at the numbers, but like, it's such a simple thing to say, but it's like you're supposed to be looking at like
growth.
Growth, but you can't have more followers than you have money in your bank. Like that's, you know, that's not the end goal. And like
clicks, likes, and comments don't pay the bills.
Yeah,
unless the reels,
Well,
I guess.
they can, but I'm
Yes.
saying there's also another side of it, another part of it with the sponsorships, with the placements. Because I mean, that opportunity wouldn't have came if you weren't, you know, locked into putting out placements or finding partnerships with films and TV.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure.
So I agree with what you guys are saying. The only thing that I will say is that you guys know I believe in content. As much as I hate it,
You've
like,
always
I've
been an avid content creator.
Yeah,
like,
but
always.
I hate kind of like how you feel. You said you felt. I've gone through that and been going through that, and even now it's like insane. If you think about it, we just talked about but that project we did 1.5 seasons because we never finished the second season. We filmed it all. But that, like, I mean, took a couple months, but that was like fun. We did it, but like to put together a freaking 15-second reel is like, oh my gosh, like you know what I mean? We filmed for months and like all that stuff, but it's just you know.
And I think that's where it turned it off for me a little bit, because you see those videos and you know how much time's going into. I'm like, bro, I don't got that time to like do a fucking 15-second reel and take 3 hours to film this motherfucker. Like,
Right?
man,
Takes
I'm just
a lot
gonna,
of energy.
I'm
Yeah,
just gonna
this
sit
shit's
this
crazy.
shit down. I'm gonna hit record, and I'm just gonna do a beat freestyle.
Yeah.
And I could do it as simple as that. But I always just, I'm right now. I'm in my creative zone.
Yeah.
So I'm not really worried about showcasing things like anymore.
So
I don't know.
Yeah. So what I was gonna say is where you brought up the you want to leave a legacy, and
Yeah.
in my opinion, the only real way to do that is to get into the content game as much
Yeah.
as we don't want to. The other thing is you brought up like with the young producers and stuff these days. To me, the disconnect is the people who were before their time. You are coming with you literally just dropped a whole bunch of gems that are a lot of artists that aren't thinking about split sheets. You know what I mean? Like you're naming all placements like these things.
Yeah.
That's
Right?
what I thought of
Places.
too.
Yeah, but to me, that's why it's probably vital that you get on
Yeah.
social media, because what's being put out there by these younger kids, you know what I mean? It's valuable, it's good, they're educating each other, but they're not coming from the same background that you like somebody like you or like we have the experience, we've been putting in the work and trying to figure it out. They're putting together these 15-second pieces of content, and it takes them a minute to do. Us, it takes us 6 hours. You know what I mean? but you know what I mean, if we can tap into that and start educating, that's like, you know what I mean, that goes with that wave of what you were talking about, like what your project This Is Life, like, you know what I mean, educating and finding a way. I don't know, I still don't know how. We're figuring it out, but
It's a building process.
Yeah, but even when you said about like you would just hit the record button, I legit think that like I would love to like come and hang out in the basement one day while you still have that?
Oh yeah. No, it's fucking crazy.
His
Basement studio.
His
setup.
basement, his shit is iconic and
Fucking crazy.
yeah.
iconic.
There's, there's memorabilia. There's vintages. I'm a big collector. I'm a straight nerd to the fullest, and I love it. It's so much fun.
Well, I say as a follow up to this episode, I'd like to come hang out with you and go live on TikTok, and you can we'll press record
Cooking
and
up
do your
session.
thing.
Yeah, cook up and shit.
Yeah.
Also, you can bring in the factor because, like, you had to ask. You mentioned about the beats and stuff like that. Like, there's also a part in my evolution where I enjoy like cooking up from scratch with an artist, or like if I have an idea, I'll just go through some beats. And if it's something that's not finished, I'll just play a couple, and they're like, yo, fucks with that. Yeah. I'm like, well, shit, what do you want done to? What do you want in? What do you want out? What do you want to hear? And I can literally whip it up in 5 minutes.
That's what's up.
And it'll be a whole song, and it won't repeat itself. Minus like your structure, like your basic structure of a song.
Yeah.
But that's...
that's
ahead.
actually what I was going to say. Like, I just started listening. We started listening to beats not too long ago, but I feel like my struggle with some of these things is how repetitive they are, like the actual song. And I feel like I get caught in these loops and I can't hear it any other way, or the way that I would hear it. It's like, I need that part taken out to hear it another way. You know what I mean?
And that's the craziest thing too, because that's where music has come along, unfortunately. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm still a fan of like this new shit. Like, there's still fucking good songs on there.
Great artists.
But if we're talking about from where hip hop was to where it came from, you know, we're in that generational divide where our classic hip hop isn't your classic hip hop.
Yeah.
So, and it dumbed down. Like, there's not a lot of thoughtful, like, process put into it. It doesn't seem like there's any like real emotional attachment to the song. And I mean, for me, like to create music personally, having emotion, music with a meaning, you know, trying to like express something, whether it be depression or anxiety or anger or love or you know, failed relationships or whatever, addiction, anything, authenticating music like that nowadays, it's hard to find. You still got a couple artists that do it, but I feel like that's where everything's kind of evolved to. Everything's dumbed down, everything's repetitive, and everything's just make you think it over and over. Like, oh my God, I can't get that fucking song out of my head. That's the idea, because that's where the bread is. That's where they're going to get the bag at, because people are going to use it for their TikTok reels. They're not going to take a song like New Tomorrow, like that I created. It's a real emotional rock hip hop song. It's like a crossover record. Like, they're not going to make a TikTok.
Yeah. Well, no, that's kind of how I feel about like music mindset and the type of art. There are artists out there, and they are doing really good conscious music, but it's not what's being promoted or what's
They're never
out
going to
there.
promote that. Though.
Yeah,
They're never going to promote that.
yeah.
It's all about the marketing.
But I feel like there are a lot more people that would agree with what we're talking about right now that can feel it and understand that than there probably are. Like there's so many, everybody's tired of that shit too. Like, but we all love it, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, I fucking love it.
Yeah.
I think it's
love
like
it.
a balance though,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
like there's so much dumb shit there's a lot of dumb shit that's out. That's why it's so oversaturated, and like there's good shit that comes out, but you got to filter through it. You got to go through the fucking playlist,
Certainly.
but it's like yeah. I mean, with that, like, what are some of your favorite like younger artists now?
That's
Because
what I
you
was
kind of
about
mentioned
that,
that
He was gonna say
I
something.
was just gonna say that's why I always bring up Future and shit, because it's like
the GOAT.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
Can
he's
rap, like you gotta. train
he's
your
on
ears.
that whole like obviously the new shit. He's been around for a while,
yeah.
but it's that newer
Yeah.
whatever type of sound. He's ratchet as fuck, like, but it's like a fucking. He's like the GOAT of that. You know what I mean?
He
And it's
really
like you
did
can't fuck with
cultivate
him.
that lane.
Yeah,
you
it-
think Migos hands down too. Like, I mean, just
Migos,
culture-
Young Thug, you know
and
what I
they
mean?
can
Like-
rap too. Like they may be doing.
Yeah.
It's the cadence.
Yeah.
Is what people were like. Connecting to the mumble rap.
Yeah.
It's your cadence, but think about how heavy a Southern accent is, like Atlanta.
Yeah.
I love Atlanta, and I can actually speak with the people because their slang is so fucking crazy. Like it is, like it.
I fuck with it.
The South is so awesome. Like the nicest, most. Like, hey, I'm gonna hold the door for you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But they're just so cool. So like the Atlanta vibe down there, just everybody's just accepting, and it is that Southern hospitality. Like I stayed in College Park with a dude never met, and it was just, hey, boy's coming down. He's going to be hitting the studio, and he
cool.
crashed in my. His name was Country.
Oh shit, that's what's up.
Yeah. So, but getting back, I just fucking went off on a tangent there. But like the Migos and what you were saying, Future.
Yeah, Young Thug too. I would put him in that.
Yeah.
like, 'cause
I
there's a
never-
reason why they lasted as long as they have.
That's
where,
true.
You know what I mean? For every one of them, there's like fucking 50 to 100 little
Yeah.
whatevers that might have had one song or whatever, and you don't hear
Yeah.
shit from anymore. So.
Exactly. That's why I like and respect like the Ray Shremmerd.
Ray Shremmerd, damn.
Yeah, they had fucking,
they had a run. They was
That
Sway Lee.
Yo, those guys are out of bounds. Those guys are so fucking nuts. But
You like it?
you
You
don't
like
know
the
Ray
one
Shremmerd?
Sway
I
Lee
don't know.
song?
You don't know Ray. You
There's
know Ray
one
Shremmerd.
song with
I feel like I do know one song,
Yeah.
but I
No.
can't think of.
That girl is a real girl.
Yeah.
That's one of them. Yeah, but
That's the
yeah.
only one that I think I would
Nah,
know.
you definitely
No
gotta
Flex
know.
Zone.
No Flex
I
Zone.
ain't got no type. There's that one.
Okay, I do
I
know
ain't-
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was just singing.
they
I
had,
was
what was the
listening
first
to
one?
it.
The No Flex Zone.
No
No
Flex
Flex
Zone.
Zone.
They
They know better.
Yo, Shrem Life.
I'm with the crowd
Fucking-
pleasers. Okay.
Shrem Life.
Shrem Life.
saying?
That was a good album.
Yeah, their first two.
Debut. Yeah, the first
the,
two.
the third one, I was like,
That was the one where they each
Yeah.
like had their own
yeah,
shit, right?
Yeah, I
Try to do the Outcast.
yeah, exactly.
Because it's like they had the one together and then the one each.
No,
and it was
but
just too
Sway,
much.
Sway Lee was really the star. He was
Oh,
the one.
facts.
He's the.
Wait, so it's a group?
It's,
Yeah,
a,
it's
it's
two
two
dudes.
brothers.
Two
Okay,
dudes,
I
They're
gotcha.
a duo. Sway Lee and
Slim Jimmy.
Slim
Jimmy.
But Sway Lee,
Not
you,
Slim
you
G.
definitely know Sway Lee from the Unforgettable song too.
Yeah.
The
Somebody's got to sing
Fresh
it.
Post
Montana.
Malone.
Somebody's got to sing it.
Needless to say, I can't away.
I don't listen
Kind
to
of
Post
towards the
Malone like
end.
that,
Towards
so
the
I don't
end,
know.
I kind of feel like I heard
You're a
something.
sunflower.
Yes.
You ain't left in that
Okay.
That's what's up though.
Post. I mean,
Post-
well, I mean,
Post is
Post.
tough.
He got a lot of
Yeah.
fucking
hold
shit
you.
when he came out.
I ain't gonna hold
fucking iconic as that guy now. Like, he's just one of those dudes. Again, country background, plays
Yeah.
the hell out of a guitar, could fucking sing his ass off, and if fucking sitting down making one song. SoundCloud blew up, it started getting popularity. YouTube started going up. Fuck, let me try
What
it.
song
Yeah,
was
and
it?
then
he
it's
was
like
one of
Yeah,
the
White
OG,
Iverson.
the OG sound.
the
White
one
Iverson.
that you always listen to, the Whitney song.
Feeling Whitney. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
But it's like fucking, I'm watching a fucking Jason Statham movie one day and I see him in the fucking thing. I'm like, oh shit,
He
remember?
was yeah, that is the one. Yeah.
Yeah, they hit Rockstar with
Posty.
21 Savage.
But he has like just a blended like just look in general. Like his whole essence is just like a
very
walking
blended.
oxygen.
He's just like one of them hippie motherfuckers. He's definitely a hip hop hippie.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what it was.
Hip-hop hippie.
Hip hop hippie.
He is the face of hip hop hippie.
And he literally is a rock star though. Like this dude, like I watched the documentary on Amazon Prime one night. I was just in the studio and I was just like, man, I just want to like get some inspiration. Like I'll do that every now and again. Watch the Juice WRLD documentary, the Lil Peep one. Yeah, there's a bunch of good hip hop documentaries. But I sat down and watched that, and it was like it just showed him. Oh, the MGK2 on Hulu. That was a really good behind the scenes thing. But just to like see that dude and like every night he's performing. And then he's just fucking getting hammer drunk and just fucking kills it like over and over. And then you see how he just don't give a fuck. He's just a natural cool dude. Like I would fucking love to pound beers and play beer pong with Post Malone and probably make fun of him singing at him. I don't know. This is things that I would probably do. But yeah, it's just like back to like the iconics. Like there's so many staples and everything. Like Juice WRLD too. Like
Juice WRLD, R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P. Juice WRLD.
Is that
Facts.
the one that I caught pieces of that documentary,
documentary,
right?
yeah.
And even speaking of Lil
He's got a
Peep,
doc,
like
too.
he was talented.
Yeah, what was it on? Hulu or some
I
shit? Or
don't
one of
know.
them fucking
I
Which
only
one you
heard it
talking
in the
about?
background.
Juice WRLD, because there was one on
HBO Max.
HBO,
HBO
but then there
Max.
was another one too, wasn't
Is there
there?
another
I thought there was. I know we seen fucking the HBO one, but I thought there was another one.
fucking good.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm I'm confusing with the Little Baby one.
Oh.
That one came out.
Remember
on
that
Prime,
was like
right?
on Prime or some shit. Yeah,
I
know
didn't
it was
watch
on
that one.
Yeah,
I caught
gotta catch that one,
pieces
yeah,
of
we saw
one.
that one and
Catch
the
that
Juice WRLD one. I haven't seen the Post one or the Lil Peep one.
Oh yeah, and now that's another thing crazy. Like I didn't get Lil Peep, all the Lils. I never gave him a fucking shot in the dark just because it's like, man, how fucking saturated Lils
Lil
do we
Wayne
got?
started that.
Yeah. But it's
Lil
like-
Wayne is the only Lil I think
Lil
I
Wayne's
really.
the one that
But
started
as far
that.
as this new
Yeah.
generation, I feel like Lil B started like all that.
Lil B,
You remember
I
that?
fuck with Lil B. I was based as fuck.
Yeah.
What Lil
Bass
do I
God.
like?
You got like
You fuck
Lil
with Lil
Wayne.
B?
I don't know.
Lil
Don't you like Lil
Scrappy,
Xan?
Lil Bow Wow,
Oh,
Lil
Lil
Romeo,
Xan, nah.
Lil Nas
I don't
X.
fuck with him.
Lil Nas.
I can't.
yeah,
the
Lil-
only one, Lil Wayne is
Yeah,
the only
Lil
one so
Wayne.
far.
Lil Troy.
Lil Wayne.
Lil Troy, I don't know.
I remember Lil Troy. That was that.
I like the does and
Fuck,
the
what
bigs.
song was that?
I'm thinking too.
24s or some shit. I don't know. No, maybe not that.
Well, T.I. had 24.
Yeah, that's right.
Did he do one?
But it was
too?
something like that, I think.
Nah,
Okay.
but Lil B is the one that started. Like, he don't get the recognition.
I'm gonna get killed in the comments for not knowing.
For which one?
It's
Two
all good.
comments we get.
Like you dummy.
Yeah.
Anyway, I feel like I wanted
Wanna
to.
be a baller. Shot call. That's the song.
Okay.
20-inch blades on the Impala.
Yeah,
some shit
yeah,
like that. Yeah. That's the Lil Troy or some shit.
I
Ain't
don't
it?
know. I don't know who that is.
That's
I thought it
Lil
was.
Troy.
I thought
Oh,
it was.
Is it Lil Troy or Pastor Troy? I could have just.
Pastor
Pastor
Troy.
Troy
No,
is-
Pastor Troy's
There
got
is a
like the
Lil Troy.
rough, the rough voice, like the
Actually-
almost
Yeah.
kind of like screamy.
I was
Almost.
fuck
I know
myself. I
Pastor
think it's Lil
Troy
Troy right now.
Because he had fucking hits back in the day. He had at least one or two.
I guess, is that like the criteria?
MTV and shit. You probably used to watch all that.
That is the criteria. You gotta have at least two.
Yeah.
You gotta have at least two.
I feel like
gotta
if
be
you
a
have more
two-hit
than
wonder.
5, I probably don't know who you are.
Because Pastor Troy was what, like Atlanta before all this,
Yeah, he's
like
like
this
the
wave and
super
shit.
Yeah.
OG. But nah, yeah, Lil Wayne was the one of the first, and then Lil B came.
Man, Wayne the Goat, man.
Since we're talking about the littles in the future, I kind of want to go back a little bit and ask
little bit.
a little bit,
That was
a little bit
did well there. I like that.
on. I just kind of like. I guess maybe what is my question? I was going to ask how pop culture has influenced your perspective on, and I was going to say on money, but I want to say life because you have your project. This is life.
Yeah.
Like as a kid, I guess.
I would say pop culture had a big fucking impact on, like, because I came up, I was born in 87, I'm an old head. So I'm 35, so
older than you.
the last of a dying breed, late 80s, you know what I'm saying? So I got to grow up in the 90s, in the 2000s. And those are two amazing, super pop culture saturated eras in time with music, clothes, video games, as we came from not having internet to have internet to, let's see, beepers and then cell phones and then the fucking Sega Genesis and Nintendos. Like, you give a 15-year-old that, they're like, where the screen at?
Yeah.
What am I doing here? But, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, big time. Like, I love wrestling. I grew up watching wrestling, skateboarding, you know, punk bands, like movies. Like, it didn't matter, just everything. But I was always a real imaginative kid. My imagination was crazy because I was a loner for the most part. Like, I had friends and stuff, but I was alone by myself a lot. So that allowed my like imagination to go crazy.
Yeah.
So like, while I'm in the basement and I got my wrestling ring set up and playing with my little action figures and all that, I'm doing all the noises and I got the fucking theme songs lined up on the boom box. Got entrance ramp coming down, you know what I'm saying? But like, even going outside and like just going into like your own universe. But,
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like those eras is kind of what molded like that imaginative and the creative process, and also like mocking things and impersonating things. Like, I love to do impersonations of people. Like, I'm just a mocker.
Yeah.
If you hang out with me for 24 hours, I will make fun of everybody.
I feel like I do that in my own time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do
I be doing
everybody's voice.
But yeah, I
Not in
mean,
front of 'em.
and honestly, you know, actually, I'm kind of locked on my brain, like trying to like give a solid answer to that, because I feel like pop culture is super important for. It can be a gift and a curse, I guess. So in one area, there's good aspects to like people with imaginations and like inspiration, like the movies that we saw, like the fucking Jurassic Parks for the first time. You're like, oh my god, T-Rex is real, bro. And then all the classic horror movies and stuff like that. But I mean, and then as a creator, you kind of take that fuel from like what you got from that experience, whether it be a movie, a song, whatever, and then that allows you to kind of dip in and do what you want to do. Like, maybe you like that so much that you want to recreate that yourself in your own way. So it kind of gives you, you know, that vibe. Like, I like to try to, like while I'm creating, take old songs and chop them up and create like a melody out of the chops.
Okay.
So I have a
Yeah.
couple records on the new project that's like that.
Gotcha. What song? Yeah, money mindset song. I forget how to ask that question for whatever reason. Since I asked about the pop culture. Give me one song that influenced maybe two, your mindset on money.
From like from back in the day.
All the small things.
That's the
And Bop. Come on, man.
I never
Who
listened.
didn't want to be handsome?
All the small things.
I was just listening to that today.
That's the one with the music video where they're like the fucking boy bands
Making
and all
fun
that
of
shit.
boy bands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so how?
Well, I could see that one because of the
Yeah.
video and shit.
Yeah, but I need to understand Umbop.
Yeah, Bop though.
Umbop.
Honestly, I think one of the craziest songs.
They all
Are
look
we
the
talking
same,
about
didn't they?
like relating to like music or?
No, just your
What is-
mindset on money. Like,
A money song. I don't know. I
I think that's why you
it's all
gave that
about the
answer.
Benjamins, baby.
Okay, yeah, that's a
Is that
good
like
one.
the question?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
that's
on
a
money.
good one.
I'm like, I'm really thinking.
okay, so all the small things would be like your life, like a life song.
This
Or-
is where this is funny because I'm thinking she's like that was the music mindset question,
What was
like a
the-
segment.
Yeah, I was just asking about the song, like that has influenced your mindset on money. Yeah.
No, all this that was actually kind of a joke. Bop too. Yeah. All right. I can't say that any one song pops out about money.
Well, you said all about the Benjamins, and it's usually
But that's because it's obvious though.
no, but that I feel like that's usually what pops in our heads. Like
Yeah.
his was a millie or whatever. It's usually like I've heard
Your
all about the
brothers was bling
Benjamins.
bling.
Yeah, I've heard all about the Benjamins a couple times. Yeah.
Yeah.
All about the Benjamin.
I mean,
Is
what was the one money
The
song?
Rock
Get
remix?
Money, Lil Wayne and T-Pain.
Okay. So I want to.
Oh yeah, that was a
my
classic. That is a classic.
Make It Rain.
Okay.
Or no, what is it? Throw Some Mo. Ray Shremmer and Nicki Minaj.
Oh yeah,
and Thug's on it too.
Thug, yeah. I killed that.
That's a good one. I'd go with that one.
I was okay with the Benjamins. I was following.
Benjamin's is classic.
There was
Yeah,
some
yeah,
Mo.
super
That's
classic.
that's a yeah. That's
That joint bop too. I'm just saying. Mike
that's
Will
funny.
made it.
That's like a
Fucking
stripper anthem.
Future. Fuck up some commas.
Oh my god! If I want to get motivated for the day, that is my shit. Look at some gum. Look at some gum.
Yeah, that's my shit.
Well, I think that's kind of a good way to go out. I think y'all should just take us out with
was-
unless anybody has anything.
And what's crazy though is was Sizzle from 808 Mafia. He made that beat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's another thing. I've worked with 808 Mafia.
Okay.
You be using 808?
Yeah, I got a
You
couple.
be using the 808 in your
only,
repertoire there?
It's I use the Siren, but I like the. But I
Is that
actually
the
I
Kill
used.
Bill joint?
Yeah, I actually
Okay.
used to use that, but it is on a good bit of records. You'll hear it like
I love that.
when the hook drops or something. I rarely use it for like an intro because I have my own sound that I sculpt.
Fuck up
It's like
some commas uses it in the beginning, right?
yeah. But yeah, that's an 808 Mafia production, and I've worked with those guys. I've worked with Swede. I've worked with Fuse, and well, he goes by Goat. What was his? What was it? I can't remember what his name was. That was like years ago. But the notable ones like me and Swede. My God. Bangers.
That's what's
So
up.
I actually got him like after the pod or whatever. I can play you guys some shit.
Sure.
But yeah, so like 808 Mafia. I was just real quick. I guess we wrapping up.
Here, yeah, in a couple minutes.
Okay,
But whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, as far as like influences and stuff like that, the 808 Mafia is like I said, Zaytoven, the Mike Will, Scott Storch, Timbaland, big time. Fatboy Slim was probably the first producer that I listened to and immediately gravitated to like the instrumental type music. Like I actually can enjoy instrumentation. Like I mean,
Yeah.
it really tells a story if the track's made right or if the
Yes.
music's made right. So
That's what
Fatboy
we've been
Slim, like I was like, yo, that shit's pretty wild. Like, and I just was like, man, I just want to make this. How do I make this? And then years later, I ended up buying a like a old HP computer for $75 off of a guy because he wanted drug money to go to a festival. $75. Hang on, I'll be right back. Hey, Mimo,
Nemo.
you gonna send me
Meanwhile,
a?
to the rescue.
Right?
What you say about giving me a computer? Can I borrow $75?
It sounds like you might have to.
About to get some ketamine at that festival.
Oh my
Or
god!
something.
Nemo's the whitest.
Yeah, but that's
Thing.
where. Yeah.
I have a Mimo, so I can't.
Okay. we
But
don't,
she's
I
white,
never heard
though.
Memo.
I'm not. Yeah, my Mimo
That's what I'm
is
saying.
white.
That's
Yes.
what I'm saying. She's white though.
Yeah, no, my Mimo is definitely.
Yeah, but that's kind of where it
My
all
nanny
started.
is black.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's kind of where it all started with me. And then obviously I knew that there was something I wanted to do, so I was like, let me go out to Best Buy or back. It was Circuit City back then.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah.
Is this the time like when you started like
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
into the like
So was this,
making
like,
beats?
Making beats.
Mid
Yeah.
2000s or something or before?
Yeah, this was probably 2004,
Oh wow.
2005. I'd go 2005 would be kind of the marquee because that's the year I graduated, and so that's kind of when I started. And I was still doing music like in high school, but I was playing in a punk band. Like that's where I ultimately started
okay,
at 15.
That's what's up.
Picked up drums. Like I've never had lessons on anything. I played drums, guitar, bass, keyboard, MPC. I can run Pro Tools. I can do. I can pretty much anything I pick up, I can figure out how to play it.
That's what's
It's
up.
a musical motherfucker.
You're
Right.
right.
There.
Like no, bro.
You've been doing it
That's
for
cool.
almost 20 plus years.
Yeah, I would say if you factor in like actually like playing in a band and doing shows, yeah, since 15. So yeah,
That's what's up.
that's fucking
crazy.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I didn't actually start taking anything serious until 2009. And that's when we met our boy Corey in Atlanta through a good friend whose mom was at this convention in Florida, and then she told him about us, and then
got
hooked.
it.
So it was a crazy story. So shout out to B Bell and his mama. So after that,
From around here.
used to be, he lives in Tampa.
Okay. I'm thinking. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so 2009 is like when we started actually, I would say at a point where I could take the music serious and actually be decent at it. So that's kind of where I started growing my confidence and stuff as a rapper. And then, getting in contact with him quickly helped me develop and gain traction and just like, hey man, you fucking suck.
Yeah.
Get back fucking to it. Do it again. Do it better.
Yeah.
So that's when I kind of like prepped my mind. And so we ended up all getting a trip down to Atlanta. It was me, Shane, Mateo, Dirt, and Dre. And we all flew We all drove to Atlanta.
Those are other producers you were.
It was actually the other rapper. They were all rappers. I was the only producer in that group. But what was funny is Corey's wife, when we were staying at their house, and
We can hear it.
you can't hear me.
No. The tap.
Oh
it's
shit!
picking
My
it
bad.
up. My bad.
I used to be so good at that. It's a lot of practice. But yeah, we stayed at his house there for our trip. For development. It was like really a training, like to go down, stay at his house, and do nothing but music and learn and experience and grow. I mean, you're in Atlanta; it's the best place. But out of everybody, she was like, you know what? Phil's gonna make it.
Yeah.
He's gonna be the one that's gonna be the last one standing. I bet you.
Yeah. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So that always like let me know that I can do something. Like I'm actually good at this.
Yeah.
Apparently, if I'm getting like cosigns from people who, don't know me or taking a chance on me, like putting time and effort, and energy. That's like a dedication, man. It's like that's why it's hard to back to what you were saying at the beginning, where what's it take to work cohesively, like work in studio and develop that producer engineer rapper relationship. It kind of starts with that, like ultimately for me. And
go ahead.
just making sure that if you know you're good at something, just know you can do it. Like
Just go for it.
just be good with it.
I was just gonna say like the power of like seeing somebody, like, you know what I mean, like just her seeing you and just saying that, like, look, like, you know what I mean, like just that built you up and reminded you or gave you the confidence that you needed just because somebody saw it. Like it's hard for us to like give that to ourselves, you know what I mean? So sometimes like just being present and like hearing, seeing and acknowledging that people can really push.
It's not, and my advice to anybody, honestly, like I would tell anybody, is don't be afraid to accept that you are good at something. Like don't be afraid to just sit back and say, fuck yeah, I'm nice. Like I'm nice with this shit. Like there's no harm in patting yourself on the back. You deserve to. I mean, anything that we do, whether it be the podcast or if you're doing like viral content or if you're writing records that you know what I'm saying, like producing music or writing music, like just you're not gonna put out a good product if you don't think it's gonna be good.
That's
that's true.
great advice. Like it's a hell of a way to do. I think that's good for us to start to take it out. That's like I was gonna ask you if you had any like advice or tips, but
That's my gem right
That's
there.
the gem right there.
you just dropped
Dropping jewels.
that golden nugget out
Sonic
there.
hitting the spikes.
Right.
So, what are you promoting? What do you? I know we talked about a little bit of your stuff, but what do you want as your promotion? Like, check out my blah 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 blah. You know.
Oh, it's real easy. At Dirrty Phil everything. DIRRTYPHIL. Super simple.
2 R's.
And it's 2 R's. Okay. Yeah, it makes me extra dirty. But yeah, it's literally Dirrty Phil on everything. There's no underscores or nothing.
Where the fuck did you get Dirty Phil? Actually, never mind. Not never mind. You can tell people. I just now remembered where.
All right, I had thought at one point this might have come up. So I've said this story enough where I can give you the synopsis. It's real simple.
Right.
So I got this tattoo, this rose right here, in loving memory of the person who nicknamed me Phil. It was my best friend's mom. She was like my second mom. Took me in. Super cool. So it's actually kind of a funny story. 2004 Super Bowl, Eagles Patriots. I'm a diseased Philadelphia Eagles fan, so there's no fixing it.
I'm from Philly, so I don't know.
So we're sitting at her house, and we're fucking young as shit, like 15, 16, something. No, like 14, 15. And we got all fucking baked up. Like that was, well, we would get over there and we smoke up, and then she'd feed us, and we're like, yeah, fuck yeah. So she would always call Bob Bub because that's how it would come out. It's his nickname. And she'd go, Bob, do you want a Pepsi? And she always used to do that. And she goes, well, does your best friend Phil want a Pepsi too? It was like such a 90s sitcom like moment where we were so high, we just started laughing out loud. And he was like, Mom, his name's Dustin. And she's like, and she always goes, oh, I know. He just looks like a Phil to me. So and I was like, why Phil? And she said that, quote, it was someone who she thought was like, uplifting, upbeat, free spirit, artistic, creative, just a beautiful person. So I was like, fuck yeah, like Phil it is. You got it, mom. Fuck yeah, mom.
Yeah,
Phil it
fuck
is.
Dustin. Shit, I'm uplifting, motherfucker.
So the dirty.
Dustin to win.
So I was like, no, Dustin. So her boyfriend at the time was super Southern, super Southern, and he would be so out there hilarious. Like I think he always like drank a lot of beer, so he tried to play off like he wasn't drunk. One of them guys, you know what I mean? So one day my best friend was over there, and he was like, "Hey," he was like, "Where your friend Phil at?" He go, "Where your friend Dirty Phil at?"
Dirty.
You know, he'd be bringing a new girl over here every time, which wasn't true. And that's the funny part. Like, that wasn't even true. I never did. And he's just always assumed. I was like, and that real quick, that computer that I bought from $75 for the dude when to go to the hippie festival to do a bunch of drugs. Solid deal. It's like a doorbuster. So my grandmother had like this old split prong microphone, but it was like the small little jaunt, a real flat or like the flat top on the mic. I hooked that bitch in there. I found a beat and I wrote like a little 16.
Okay.
And
like...
I was so happy about it. And it was the dumbest shit ever. It was something like, my name is Paul Bunyan. Or no, I met a guy named, in the part of, never mind, we'll get back to that. So I recorded this song and I burned it onto a CD and I listened to it in my car. I'm like, yo, I'm listening to myself right now. Like did I just do that? I just wrote like a rap. So I drove right over there to Mom and see Bob. And I was like, yo, guys, I made this fucking rap. You gotta listen to it. It's crazy. It's crazy. Popped in there like, oh my God, I can't believe you made it. I was like, well, what's your name? I guess Dirty Phil.
Dirty Phil.
And Dirty Phil was birthed.
Yeah. You do look like a Phil.
You do look like a
I thought that was
Phil.
your government.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to earn a
Uplifting,
nickname.
creative, yeah.
You got to earn a nickname.
That's what's up.
But yeah, so I don't know. It's so natural to me. Like people say Phil, I'm like, what up?
Yeah, no, that's why I was like, is Phil here yet? Like, I not even acknowledging
Yeah, there's
you.
never hesitation.
Like, but it's weird because even whenever, like, if I see you pop up, like, see your real name for whatever reason, it's still
It doesn't
Dirty
work.
Phil.
Yeah, it's so
like,
weird.
I could see your whole name and it's still gonna, nope, it's Dirty Phil. Like, yeah. Anyway, well, thanks for coming on. Like, it was
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
It's
you
been
dropped
fun.
some real gems for
I hope
lot of
so.
people.
I can go off on tangents, and
Yeah.
I've had a lot of build up on like just to talk with people about just any and everything.
Yeah.
But also, in retrospect, allowing me to come on here and get my story out. It was cool vibing with you. It was good to hear
man.
your story
No,
too.
It was nice meeting you and
Yeah,
like
you as well.
just hearing that it was. I just want to say that it was inspiring to hear that you've been doing it for so long. It's nice to meet you and like you
Appreciate
you know
that.
the fact that you appreciate the younger generation is that's dope.
I embrace it.
you know?
That's kind of like my thing. Like I believe in embracing the new talent because even though it's not the shit you used to do, there's still somebody who had that drive and that goal to do it like you did back in the day. Like speaking on myself, like seeing the young generation, just me
Facts.
personally, if I see you out, I'm like, I'm gonna recognize, like I don't mind like giving recognition to things, and I like to reach out to people, and I don't know. There's been a little bit of a bad coding over my name over the years. I mean, I've heard, but
They
just
said.
yeah,
Who's
the
they?
naysayers. But just to clarify to anybody who does, like, you know, everybody wants to, you know, tune in and check out my story. Just know, like, you can reach out to me. Like, I'm here to help. Like, you know, doing the whole, you know, being a part of the little journey with Little Skies with his teen years, like from 12 to 14, 15.
Yeah.
Era was getting him and grooming him in the studio, helping him work on his recording. Like, me and Kai worked literally together. Like,
Yeah.
his mom would just drop him off at the house and we'd lock in, man, and work. And then doing the record with Slim Jesus, that was pretty cool. But then,
dropping Slim
Like a sleep.
Jesus. Go ahead.
yeah.
Rubber Band Cartel.
You know what I'm saying? Dirty Phil's heavy out there. Although I go
That's
by the
what's
Mumble
up.
God in that record.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll know why.
Humble guy.
Forgot the yeah.
But yeah, and then the Mario Judah situation, you know, that happened, and that was a reality that was fucking insane.
You linked
and
with Mario Judah?
Yeah, I mean,
Law's
you're
the one
talking
that
to a
brought him
real
up here.
OG.
Law's
yeah.
the one that discovered him.
That's
actually.
hard.
Yeah.
And then after Law showed me his shit. I was like, yo, this shit's fucking crazy. I was like, I actually like this. I can fucking rock to this. So I actually sent him a message too, reaching out saying, Law said he found you, whatever, fan of your music. Like, this shit goes hard. Looking forward to working. So Law ended up flying him up. And that's when we shot the viral one.
Yeah.
Die Very Rough.
Yeah.
Thank you, Shatora.
Yeah.
The viral.
That's what's up.
I should have known that one, because there was a debate on like what song like he was to shoot first. So we just went through his records, and then Crush was one of them, because that's the song that we originally heard from with Crush, and then Die Very Rough or whatever.
Die Very Rough is the one I know.
Yeah, so it was between the Crush and then the Die Very Rough, and I was like, yo, fucking Die Very Rough.
Yeah.
That record goes so fucking hard, and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
So then we whipped
And
up.
that's the one that what's it called? Filmed the video for like with nothing, right? Isn't that the one that is that the one that Jamie did?
Yeah,
and
that
he,
was,
like,
it was
and it
all
was-
done in one night.
Yeah,
It's
it was
crazy.
like it was just like yeah,
And it went.
That's
It literally
what's
went viral overnight. Like a
Yeah.
clip surfaced on Twitter, and the shit went crazy.
what's up.
And like he was up here for it, and I just remember coming over to the office when this was going on, and just watching it happen. I'm like, dude, this is fucking crazy. Like these guys are fucking going crazy right now. Like this is insane. Like I can't believe I'd be a part of something like this.
Yeah.
So then he left, came back. We shot the Crush video. Then right after that session, did that in the night. And then after that, I started cooking up on the MPC.
Gotcha.
Made a beat from scratch. And I started out, Mario was like, yo, that. When I started making the melodies and shit, he's like, yo, that. So I built the beat right there for him. He wrote it right on the spot, recorded it right on the spot. And then we shot the video that night. And it was,
what's up.
yeah, it was crazy.
That was
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, that was a whole
blew
other
up.
story though. Like, that song has generated hundreds and thousands of plays for me. That my handprints on that record. It was released. Then the label took it down. They contacted Law and about like the songs and stuff, and he told me about it. And I was like, well, I just want it. I'll keep it up. So I reposted after he took it down, just because we was just done with this stupid shit. That's all back in the back. But so I re-released the track under my DistroKid, and it went up, and it started going crazy. Like as soon as it went down, it went back up. Like people were commenting on YouTube, like my audio video, like, yo, where's the track at? Where's the track at? I was like, these motherfuckers. So yeah, that got taken down, but I'm still getting stream money off of that, because it still can be found, and it's still gonna just watch the numbers going at. But to me, that was like one thing that was like super important to me, like to be a part of something of the new era, the new generation, and produce one of the most viral artists of 2020. Have a record with that guy, that could have changed everything for me, like literally everything. And it only takes one.
Yeah.
That's another
really
gem. It only takes one.
It only takes one.
The people needed
That's
to
what
know
I've been
that.
living on. The hope of that. It only takes one.
Yeah.
Well,
Fuck the labels.
Yeah. Facts.
Yeah, so I guess I'll take us out with just a quick thing that I feel like I don't know if I've ever really said or given enough credit to, like, just thinking of One Room Media and just everything. There's a lot of like really big and crazy things that have come through these walls, and you already know what other walls and rooms what the one rooms that have evolved into this.
It's insane.
But yeah, a lot of talent, and beyond that, a lot of really hardworking people and genuine people. And I know I said on one of the beginning podcasts, but like Jamie's the reason why we came into contact with Shator and Bullwhip, and I give them a lot of credit for the inspiration of music mindset. You know what I mean? And then now here we are again, full circle. But like there's been a lot of big moves and power plays that have happened in here, and not just in the music industry or the entertainment industry. There are a lot of really just a lot of really good positive things have come out.
It's the ultimate success story too, just to top that, because like success isn't necessarily based monetary wise. A lot of people would go for that, but success is like, what's your success?
Exactly.
What makes you feel successful?
Yeah. Yes. All right, so you guys taking it out with your, I forget what y'all said. Y'all did a future or something. I forget what it was again now.
This is the shit that I don't do.
Fuck up the commas. Fuck up the commas.
Oh yeah, fuck up the commas. That's what it was.
I'm rolling with shorty. I'm loving the way that she fucking me, yeah. Ain't no fucks, yeah. We don't get no fucks, yeah. Fill my cup.
Fill my cup, yeah.
See y'all next time.
That's my shit.
Peace.